and you're hanging with the old timer and the punk on this beautiful Sunday afternoon of May 1st. And if you remember, because it was a little bit, our title today, our episode title, what we're talking about is one hit wonders of the 50s and 60s. And I'm going to pass it over to the old timer because he's got a lot of stuff to talk about, man. So,
Hey, everybody. So nice to be with you again. And always nice to be with the punk. I never get enough of the punk.
you're the only one.
Yeah, well, that's true. Um, so today we're going to talk about, as the punk said, one hit wonders of the 60s, 50s, and 60s. And the one thing that I've always been amazed about, and it's really and truly, is how some of these artists can can do one song, okay? That charts and is remembered and that they made money on. Some of them, have done more than one song, but they never made the charts or they never went anywhere with it. So the thing that amazes me is that today is 2022, and there are still people out there that are touring that made one song and they've lived off it.
Must be nice to live off one song.
I don't know that they could live off it totally, but it was a big part of their income. And then, like I said, they're still touring today. For example,
You know what you call the income? They call it mailbox money.
yeah, right.
No, it's the term. A lot of bands who have one hit.
Okay,
That's
I didn't know that. So,
yeah. It's like
thanks for sharing that.
if they have something else going on, and then they happen to make it big with one song. It doesn't hurt to keep having that income flow back to you. I'll take it.
No, absolutely. And you know what? It's better than I've ever done. I haven't made any. I'm a no-hit wonder.
Yeah, me too, man.
But we happen to know one. We happen to know personally one-hit wonder who had a great voice. He really, and he still does, and he still plays. He has a great voice, and is a really nice man. His name is John Cuse, and the name of his group, the name of the song, I should say, "My Coney Island Baby," and that song it's been in movies. It's been on the radio ever since I could remember.
You know what year that was?
You know what? I think it was 1960, right around 60, 61.
Okay.
John Cuse and the Excellence. That's the name of his group, and they're still touring. Not touring as much, but they're still playing around. They've been in Westbury a couple of times. They're in a couple of nice size restaurant venues that have shows, and the song really served them well. You're my Coney Island baby, and anybody who lived in Brooklyn, could absolutely identify with that song because everybody who lived in Brooklyn one time or another went to Coney Island, and
There you go.
and
Still does.
yeah, I still do. I go and walk the boardwalk over there all the time. But your mother and I used to go there every weekend when we were single.
When it was probably a lot much more interesting. I mean, they made it nice now.
Yeah, but
it's not like the original.
But in 1962, when we started going there, it was like the place to be. It was crowded.
Yeah, probably a little bit safer too.
It was safe. Yeah, there were really not many problems back then.
No.
And of course, you always ended up in Nathan's. So what could be bad?
They have the perfect spot for their business.
You're not kidding. And my grandfather used to take my two cousins, Camille and Joe Perry, and myself to Steeplechase when it was open.
Why was that the name? I always wondered.
Well, I don't know why it was the name, but the guy's name who owned it was George C. Tillieu. He was a Brooklyn entrepreneur, and he built this place that was you thought you were in heaven when you were in there. In fact, it's right next to the where the Mets farm team plays, the Brooklyn team. We went there last year.
But Steeplechase was a separate part of the park?
Steeplechase was an entity unto itself.
Oh, wow.
Okay. It was between, it was like 2 blocks from Nathan's, and going in the other direction.
So
Okay,
past the baseball field.
past the base, actually right next to the baseball field. The baseball field has some of Steeplechase's property.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So we used to go to Steeplechase in Coney Island, and I don't want to get off on the tangent, but the best thing in the world was I was a wise guy. My grandfather used to ask us what we wanted, and I would, we all tell him, but I would save my French fries for the subway ride home. And everybody was, when you walked into the subway back then, and the odor of the French fries, everybody's looking at you like, oh my God, they must be delicious. I'm surprised I didn't get mugged for them.
Today you definitely would.
Today I'd get killed.
Don't get on the train today, man.
So anyway, Coney Island baby, John Q. He was again a real nice man. In fact, he lived in Brooklyn, and this song, like I said, kept coming up on the radio, especially in the summertime. It was a big summertime hit. But so what we're saying is that that song has paid a lot of his bills.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to mention that we asked some of the people that listen to this to send us in some ideas about, or some questions about, who some of these one hit wonders, and we have one here from Melanie S in Long Island.
Skunsa.
Yeah.
Yeah, she loves one hit wonders, man. She was kind enough to send us in a few.
Right.
One of them was called Wipeout by who? Don't even look.
I never look.
You don't have to look. He's not cheating, man. He don't have to
look. That would insult my intelligence.
Yeah.
It'd be time for me to hang him up.
You sounded like Bella. Home? I have no home.
Yeah. Anyway, Melanie sent us a couple of things. One of them was Wipeout. Now, unfortunately, she was incorrect. I don't like to correct her, but the artists who made that song were not one hit wonders. The name of the group was the Safaris, and they followed up with their biggest hit, was called Image of a Girl. That was played at a lot of weddings back in the late 60s and early 70s. They were like weddings. It was a wedding song.
Wipeout too. A lot of movies.
Oh yeah. Yeah. But
and I know which one she's thinking of. She's thinking of The Wanderers. That's why. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an 80s movie.
Yeah. So anyway, Melanie, if you're out there, I'm sorry to say, Wipeout was not made by a one-hit wonder. It was made by a two-hit wonder called the Safaris.
She's also got the famous Monster Mash.
Okay, 1962, Bobby Pickett and the Crypt Kickers. Bobby Boris Pickett, he was known as.
Bobby Boris Pickett and the Crypt
the Crypt Kicker 5. That was the name of his group.
What the hell?
Yeah. And they came out with this Halloween song. That's what it was. It was a Halloween themed song.
Great song.
Yeah, called the Monster Mash.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you where that was played the first time I heard it.
Okay.
And now I'm really dating myself, because back in 1961, 62, I was 13, 14 years old.
All right. That would make you 27.
I'm 39, actually.
Yeah, there you go.
But there was a show on television on Channel 9 called Zachary. And he was like the cool ghoul. That was his moniker. And he used to play all these they were horrible movies.
Good movies, though. I liked them.
Horrible B horror movies. Horrible.
Yeah.
And his claim to fame was he would cut in on the movie and like get into a scene and start, making believe he was in the movie.
Just before Elvira?
He's before Elvira.
I'm sorry, before the chick from Ed Wood, Vampira.
Vampira was actually before Zachary.
Before Zachary, but the same concept.
Yeah, and but Zachary, actually, he lived to be 99 years old. He was from Philadelphia, and every Friday night the show would be on Channel 9, and then they'd repeat it again on Saturday night.
Ah, okay.
But I never missed one of them, and he had, his wife was in a crypt, and actually it wasn't a crypt. It looked like it was a big, I don't even know what to call it. It looked like a big box.
Right.
And it had all wooden things around it, and he'd be talking to her, and you'd hear gurgling, blah, 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 and that was her answering him.
Did it go on long, the
It
show?
was on a couple of years.
Yeah.
So he introduced the song from Bobby Boris Pickett
They did it
and the
live?
Crypt Kicker Five. No, that was totally black and white, non-live television. It was on tape,
Right. Now,
or
see,
film, actually. I guess
they actually carried that same concept. You and I were watching. What we watching? We were watching
Svengoolie.
Svengoolie. Yeah.
That's Zachary.
That's exactly.
Yep.
Just I think he passed away, unfortunately. But what we watching? The Creature Walks Among Us.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was a good movie, man.
but some of his he loved zombie. He loved zombie movies. He had a fixation on zombie movie, and back then in the late 50s and early 60s, zombies were in.
Yeah.
And
with George Romero's
yeah,
Night of the Living Dead.
But some of the movies, I mean, they were the most horrible. They were probably made in 2 days on a budget of $10,000.
Your favorite, man. Come on, our favorite. Ed Wood.
You know what? Ed Wood was my favorite.
Yeah, he was great. They're like Russ Meyer movies, right? Like The Wasp Woman and stuff like that.
Well, Russ Meyer made like Nudie Cuties.
Oh, okay.
But,
wow, that was the term. Yeah, exactly.
Zachary was very funny. But anyway, Bobby Boris Pickett, who did the Monster Mash and the Crypt Kickers, did that song. They were one-hit wonders. They disappeared off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
But the song still plays.
Every Halloween.
Every Halloween.
Every Halloween, man.
I was listening to Cousin Brucey, as I always do. I never miss a show wherever I am on Saturday night. And he was talking about one-hit wonders last night. And he was talking about kind of what we're getting into today. He was talking about how some of these guys have been around for 50 years.
Yeah.
And more, some 60 years.
Yeah.
Living off the one hit. And then he started saying, okay, I'm going to give all you people a hint. The song was like in 19 ba ba ba, and it was a very big hit. It made the top 10, and it had to do with a musical instrument that you play. So I'm saying to myself, okay, musical instrument, top 10. He said, and the musical instrument had a distinct color to it. I said, green tambourine.
Oh, I was thinking triangle, man.
A green tambourine by the Lemon Pipers.
Okay.
They were another one-hit wonder, but that song became part of the hippie group. It became part of the protest group, you know.
Oh.
And the guys with the shaggy hair standing on a corner, playing a green tambourine with a cigar box, looking for dimes and quarters.
The long hairs.
The long hairs.
Yeah.
100%.
But some of those one-hit wonders went on, some of them made millions of dollars.
Oh.
And were number one on the charts, weren't they?
Let's talk about who the hell is Bruce Chanel.
Yeah, Bruce Chanel, yeah.
Okay. Bruce Chanel changed his, after having, this hit, he changed, and a couple of other songs that he had that went nowhere, okay? He changed his venue from rock to country, and he did better as a country artist. But the song "Hey Baby" by Bruce Chanel. Okay,
if you've watched Dirty Dancing, you've heard the song, the famous scene. A lot of movies it's in.
A lot of movies.
That really, I mean, as far as movies go, that's where it's at.
And I'll never forget. I wanted to buy the song. To buy the record. And I went to EJ Corvettes on Fulton Street, and they had the best record department, in Brooklyn. I thought. I mean, they had a huge record department.
What is there now?
I haven't been down there in so long. I can't tell you.
Yeah.
But it was a chain. Corvettes was actually a chain of stores that was medium to low end. In other words, you can go in there and get an outfit for $30
if it's comfortable.
Yeah, right. But what they did have was the greatest record department. So I used to work downtown in the Dime Savings Bank, right, when I was going to school, and I used to spend hours in that record department. I spent all the money that I had, and I didn't have much, but I used to buy albums, and so when I went looking for this record, I couldn't find it, and I'm saying this song is big. So I went to the guy behind the counter, and I said, I'm looking for Hey Baby by Bruce Channel, I called him. I don't know what Chanel, and the guy said to me, it's right over there. And I'm saying, but the record had a cover on it that was called Jukebox Favorites. It
Oh, it
didn't
didn't
have it.
have
It didn't have his name on it.
his own thing.
Yeah. So I wore that record out.
Or they didn't package it by itself. A
No,
single? Wasn't a
no,
single?
it was a single, but it in some days it would have the record label on it. It
Yeah.
didn't even have that.
Probably a small
It
label
was
and
probably made
maybe.
in somebody's garage.
Yeah, yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
sure.
but
Man, did he laugh all the way to the bank.
this. So who the hell is Bruce Chanel?
Now you know.
Now you know.
When you first, I didn't know who the hell. I think you made it up.
And I think, and I could be, I don't think I'm wrong, but I could be. He gained later fame in the country music, era, doing yodeling songs,
Like Cattle Call?
something like that, like Slim Whitman did.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah, and yeah, so that's where he went on to make his name. I think he got into the Yodelers Hall of Fame, something crazy like that.
You imagine you
Yeah.
went from Hey Baby to Yodel.
Yeah, Yodel, you know, right.
There was a market for that.
Oh
though.
man, you know where it was? It was in the Midwest, in the
Right.
Southeast,
Right.
Southwest. A lot of those, those guys with the yodelers were like,
But that's like that song Cattle Call. Remember when you used to play that? We were little nights,
Yeah.
and we'd get a kick out of it. But that was someone actually took the time to, and it did all right.
yeah. I think it was Eddie Arnold who did it.
Really?
Yeah.
And it got into a lot of movies. I know that's that famous scene in Private Parts, Howard Stern's movie, when he's playing and he goes,
Yeah.
"I just don't get it.
Yeah.
How could this?" But
Yeah.
there was a market for it,
Yeah.
which is amazing.
There was,
And just looking at the list like we got in front of us, because I pulled out a list to look at.
And I have not seen what he pulled out.
No. I wouldn't show him, man. It wouldn't be. He doesn't need me to tell him. But I'm just looking at all the one-hit wonders, and just the list that goes from the 50s and the 60s is by far. I mean, one of them, I can't understand how 1954 Earth Angel by the Penguins.
The Penguins,
And not to cut you, but I only mention this because that song,
it's iconic.
but it like regained fame again as certain songs do, similar to I'm not making the comparison. Obviously there's no comparison between the Penguins, Earth Angel, and Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen, because
Right.
that song got re-famous in Wayne's World, but this song got re-famous again in Back to the Future.
Right.
So it amazes me that it just keeps on recycling itself.
Well, I remember the first time I heard Earth Angel. Well, it came out in the early 50s, I think.
It's a perfect song.
It is, but I must have been. If anybody's listened to the prior podcast, you may recall that I said that my dad, my 13th birthday, bought me the greatest gift I ever got in my life, and that was the small Sony transistor radio. And I used to listen to music on Friday nights, all night, with the radio under my pillow, and Saturday night especially all night. And that song always was played on Murray Decay. Murray Decay and the Swingin' Soiree. And he wouldn't be on all night, but there would be like 2 or 3 different disc jockeys that would come on and spend like. Mahalia Jackson might have gone off at midnight, and then somebody came on from 12 to 3 or 12 to 4. And I'll never forget the name of the people who sponsored them. It was the DiCarlo Land Investment people that were selling land in Florida back in 1961. And all you heard while you're listening to this thing all night was everything about where they were buying land.
It was a good way to get your brand out there, though, right?
Yeah, and you know what? You were buying swampland.
Yeah.
So I mean,
good luck getting bit.
Alligator Alley.
There you go.
But anyway, this song would be on many times, and the Penguins, they were on. Actually, they were called. Not all of them were the originals. A few of them died, but they were on Channel 13. One of the first broadcast Channel 13 did. With saving the music. C.J. Lubinsky, who's done a great job of keeping the music alive. Him and Cousin Brucey, have done an amazing job of keeping the music alive. Think about it. Let's say this started in 1950, right? We're 70 years in, and we're still playing the music and still loving it.
And were they one of the first African American groups?
Yep, they sure were.
I thought I had heard.
They they were an excellent group. The Ravens were another group that were one of the first. You're so fine,
That was a one-hit wonder.
So fine.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so they were a few of the first that came along, and there were a lot of them that were one-hit wonders. The greatest album when I was in high school was Rumble. The name of the album was Rumble.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and it had two black groups on them that were like rumbling against each other,
like a brawl.
But it wasn't a real fight. It was singing.
Okay.
Oh, really? The Paragons meet the name
like
of
a rap battle.
No, but it wasn't rap.
No, but I'm saying it was like a
and one of the groups was called the Paragons.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was a very popular album, and it was called Rumble. The Paragons meet the Jesters, and like a court jester,
Yeah.
And everybody in my class had that album, So, but anyway, so Bruce Chanel. So Melanie, that you're out there, just know that your first question about the first song you said, Wipeout. It's not a one-hit wonder. Okay. But you go into some of the you go into some of the other one-hit people, and you look at here's a perfect example. Okay, the song "Stay just a little bit longer."
That was one-hit wonder.
Maurice.
That was also in Dirty Dancing.
Exactly right.
That was pretty.
Okay. Yeah. And the song was made by a group called Maurice Williams and the Zodiacs.
Jeez, some of these names.
Okay. Now, the claim to fame of the song, if you were in a trivia contest ever, and I was in many of them, and I always told you about the one that we got thrown out of in Mount Airy Lodge for trying to.
What were you doing?
Well, anyway, we used to go to Mount Airy Lodge every summer. A group of us, 5 couples.
Those wonderful commercials they had.
You're right.
Beautiful Mount Airy Lodge. Yeah, I used to love that commercial, man. You guys were notorious troublemakers.
We were troublemakers that you cannot imagine. So one day they announced that there's going to be a trivia contest by the pool at 2:00.
Right.
And they had a guy that was like the director of
MC.
Well, he emceed it, but he was like the everything that was going on at the lodge. He was in charge of. He was like the.
He was.
Give me the word.
Kind of like the master of ceremonies.
Yeah, but he was the director of activities.
So I could just imagine what you guys did to this poor bastard.
So he was the activity, and he was like very serious.
You feasted on him.
He used to ride a bike around the lodge, and he was, he rang a bell, and
I would have killed him.
So Uncle Joe Tessitore, my dear friend and cousin, who unfortunately passed away 2 years ago, and I. And my cousin Joe Perry, we said we got to get into this trivia contest because first of all, we probably know the answers, and secondly, this guy's a perfect foil. I mean, we could really bust his balls. So
I think you should have bought stock. I think you may have coined that term.
What?
Bust your balls.
Oh yeah,
because I've been hearing you saying that for years.
Right.
Man.
So now. Picture it's a hot day in Mount Airy Lodge, and back then, the place was mobbed.
Yeah, it was
the place to go because not only did they had a pool, an indoor pool, they had ice skating in the summertime. In the summertime, yeah.
Wow.
Wintertime they had skiing.
Yeah.
I mean, you could go there and do everything, right?
So that commercial wasn't all bullshit.
No,
right?
It was. Unfortunately, they kept building it up because they thought they were going to get gambling there. And they built this huge ice palace.
Yeah.
To hold.
They got it now.
Well, yeah, but what happened was they built this huge ice palace to house a gambling casino, and they never got the gambling rights. And then the place went downhill. Within 3 years, the place was you didn't want to go there anymore.
I remember when it got shady. It got shady.
No, they didn't take care of it anymore, and it just it just rotted away. But they had a nightclub called the Crystal Room, where 3,000 people. They held 3,000 people, and I'll never forget. Um, well, I'm digressing. So we went to the Crystal Room show, and they always had a top name. You know, it was a famous comedian or a singer or a singing group, and their house band was called King Henry and the Showmen, and they were phenomenal. They could do anything, right? So,
it's a good name for a band.
So Joe and I, Tessitore and I, are in the men's room, and in comes Ed McMahon. Was on the show. He was going to be he was like he had a
Johnny Carson's guy.
Yeah, but he had an act. I don't know what he did. I think he did magic and stuff like that.
Was he well known by then?
Yeah, sure. He was on television every night, Tonight Show.
Oh, right.
So, we're doing what we have to do, and Joe gives me he gives me the elbow, and he said, Ed McMahon just walked in. So I said, wow. So Ed McMahon is washing his hand. They used to have a bathroom attendant that, would help you, give you a towel, and if you wanted to buy like Vitalis for your hair or a comb or a condom, whatever it is you wanted, this little guy would give it to you. So Ed McMahon is washing his hands, and he's going into his pocket like to leave the guy a tip.
Right.
And I walked over to Ed McMahon. I don't know Ed McMahon. He doesn't know me from Adam. And I said, Ed, your money's no good here. I said, this piss is on me. And I gave the guy $1, and he started to laugh. He was howling. So the show starts. He said, this is a very friendly place. He said, I was in the men's room, and I met a guy who actually paid for my piss. So
there you go.
You can't beat that. So anyway, Mount Airy Lodge. So now we're at Mount Airy Lodge, and there must be 150 people sitting around the pool. And he comes out, and he sets up whatever the trivia contest is going to be, and he gets on the microphone. And we wrote down our names to be in it. There must have been like 50. I think they were only allowed to have 10 or 15 people participate.
Right.
And if you got one wrong, I think you were able to, there were going to be 10 questions. And if you got one wrong, or two wrong, you were disqualified.
Okay.
So I couldn't believe the first question was, and now we're not there to win. We're not there looking to win the contest. We're there looking to bust his balls, right?
So who cares? I wish I could have been there, man.
So the first question, he said, Count Dracula. Who is his assistant? So my cousins both looked at me, and I knew right away that it was Renfield, right?
Right.
So I said to them, "This is too easy. It's Renfield." So I raised my hand and I said, that would have been Renfield. He goes, you're right. Oh, and his assistant's writing the name, and he's giving us a check and whatever. So I said, this is bullshit, right? So now we started. It was a movie trivia thing and music. So he said, okay, who did pop, pop, pop? I don't remember the question. And the answer we gave was Hunt's Hall.
The guy from the
Bowery Boys.
Bowery Boys,
yeah,
right.
The dopey one.
Yeah.
And he goes, no, I'm sorry, Hunt's Hall's not the answer. Okay, so that's one wrong. So the next one, another question. Joe gets up, he goes, that was Hunt's Hall. He goes, no, I'm sorry, that's not Hunt's Hall. You're wrong. 2 checks, one more, and you're gone. But we didn't leave. We kept saying Hunt's Hall, Buster Keat, any name that came to our mind.
That was just wrong.
And the people were hilariously laughing. And the guy was getting angrier by the second. He was fuming because he took this stuff serious. This was his job. This was his bowl of rice, so to speak. And we busted his balls for the whole hour to the point where he stopped the trivia. He said, it's not fun, working with people who can't be serious. And the people that were around, when we got up they gave us a standing ovation.
There you go.
We were breaking his chops.
There you go.
And it was so much fun. But anyway,
as you're talking about some of these songs, we mentioned the Penguins, and I'm just looking over some of the lists. The funny thing about a lot of these is that I could tell you 20 to 30 movies that are pretty recent that a lot of them are in that became again like huge again. What do I see it? So, all right. So I got Bebopalula, right?
Yep.
By
Gene Vincent.
Very good. So Looking at that song, I know for a fact I could name 5 movies that song is in, and it's their key scenes in the movie.
Who did Vincent think he was?
They thought he was Elvis.
He thought he was Elvis.
Yeah, just listen to it.
Yeah,
I was like, who
I always, you thought it was
as
Elvis.
A kid, I thought that was Elvis.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I'm like, that's who it sounds like.
Yeah.
Even looking at another guy who I love the song, Party Doll.
Buddy Knox.
Yeah, he kind of had the Elvis kind of.
Buddy Holly. He sounded like Buddy Holly.
I was going to say that. Yeah. Rockabilly.
Right.
Yeah, Rockabilly.
Rockabilly guy.
And those 2 songs, just by looking at this. And, of course, here's a song that's in every gangster movie you could name. Every Get a Job.
Oh. Sha-la-la-da, sha-la-la-da-da, ba-doo.
What's our favorite movie that's from?
The Silhouettes.
Come on, you know.
Goodfellas.
Well, that's one, but what's the other one from? Isn't it in American Graffiti?
Was it in American Graffiti? Yes, it was in American Graffiti.
When they're parked and Richard Dreyfuss and what's his name, Joe DeFaro, they're like doing their thing there.
Yeah,
you hear it in the background. But again,
a lot of that music that was iconic in that movie. You know what made it the best? Because you didn't hear it. It wasn't front and center.
Exactly.
It was always in the background.
It was genius.
It was genius.
From somebody's car.
George Lucas.
Yeah, that's what made it so
And the Wolfman was amazing.
Yeah, and he was like, you didn't hear him really up close until...
You hear him and who's that on the Wolfman's telephone?
But look at, again, some of these songs I could name. I just know The Book of Love.
The Monotones. Now... I saw the Monotones. Dick Clark had a show in 1963 or 4.
Right.
They were on. It was American Bandstand, but they had it on a Saturday night.
Right.
And it was like a whole hour, and he would break down the top 10 hits of the week.
Right.
And the Monotones. The first time I saw them, they were on Dick Clark's show, and the Book of Love. That song sold millions of copies. It was big.
In so many movies that's in.
Right.
Oh my God! Look at this one, man. Do You Want to Dance?
Well, Do You Want to Dance? Bobby Freeman, but Bobby Freeman had a couple of other.
I was going to say that. I've heard that name before.
Yeah, he had a couple of other hits. So I don't know how accurate. That was him as a one-hit wonder. But Do You Want to? Who covered Do You Want to Dance?
Beach Boys.
Oh,
we heard them do that live.
Yeah, their rendition was amazing.
Their version was better.
Oh, of course.
I mean, it was a lot. No offense to Bobby Freeman, but it's just like
it was a Brian Wilson.
Yeah, it's not even close. God rest his soul. He died way too early. Chantilly Lace.
The Bopper.
How many movies is that in? Again, American Graffiti, La Bamba.
Right.
I mean, every 60s movie it's also in what's the one? Great Balls of Fire with Dennis. Quaid.
Dennis Quaid played Jerry Lee.
Exactly. It's in that. Oh,
yeah, but the Big Bopper though, he was who the Big Bopper was trying to be, right? You do know that. Who was he emulating? Who was he trying to knock off? I mean, the poor guy didn't last that long.
I'm trying to think.
With the look
and he had the style. Hair.
He was trying to be Bill Haley.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
He was trying to be Bill Haley, who was one of the pioneers of rock and roll. Bill Haley in the comics.
Because in that song, like, he doesn't really sing. He
talks.
He talks, right? Yeah. It's like Shanty. Before he talks, he's on the phone, right, with the girl?
Yeah, ring. Yeah, you hear the music. You hear the song ring.
He's on the phone with the lady. But again, he never had any other hits, right?
No, he died.
That was it, just one song.
One song.
So it's funny in La Bamba, right? You see them doing that travel where they're all kind of in concert, one after the other after the other.
Oh, that was. Think about the show
that's what I'm saying. Like they were able. He piggybacked that for a pretty decent amount of time.
Well, they were on what's called the winter party tour or something. I could be wrong about the name, but it was called the winter tour, and it had Buddy Holly, it had Richie Valens, it had Dion Demucci in the Belmonts.
Who's the dude we like? Jackie Wilson.
Eddie Cochran.
Yeah.
Who was another unfortunate person who died way too young.
He was badass.
He was great.
He was badass, man.
And that show, that show was iconic. I use that word a lot, but that show was amazing. Who put it together? And everybody knows the story. Buddy Holly didn't want to ride on the bus anymore because there was no heat. and he met somebody who had a plane that was going to fly him to the next town, and he wanted to share the expense, and he got Richie Valens and the Big Bopper, and everybody knows what happened the day the music died.
So again, another song. I mean, that's probably like looking at. I mean, there's a whole bunch of songs, but that one sticks out a lot because again, that's like. But here's another one covered by better than the original, covered by Creedence, Sea Cruise.
Frankie Ford, who did Sea Cruise, his real name was Frankie Fortunato or something. He was an Italian guy from New Orleans. And
how the hell do you know?
I know.
I mean, how do you know that?
And Frankie Ford used to be a great piano player. In fact, he'd come out on the stage. I saw him many times.
Yeah, I remember you saying that. Yeah.
He'd come out on the stage with a scarf that was like piano keys.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I guess he thought he was Liberace.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Lee.
Yeah, Lee. He was from New Orleans, an Italian guy from New Orleans. And there were many Italian guys from New Orleans that were in in rock and roll business. But Frankie Ford lived off that song till he died.
How many people covered it?
I know.
When we saw John Fogerty live, even I don't think when we saw Creedence Revisit, when we saw John Fogerty live, he covered it. And I remember they covered it, years before. But their version I thought was obviously a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
But again, what do they say? That covering a song is the greatest form of respect, tribute, right?
Yeah.
Looking at one, I never knew this was
like Roy Orbison said when he was asked. They asked him, "Do you mind that other people sing these songs?" He said, "Do I mind? I'm just happy they remember me."
And they're getting paid. Too.
And they're getting paid.
Let's face it, But looking at this one, anybody who saw, obviously everyone knows this song because they've seen "Stand By Me," "Hushabye."
Yes, "Hushabye" was a song by the Mystics.
Yeah. And again, it's an iconic scene.
Yeah, "Hushabye."
So many movies.
"Hushabye."
Yeah, great song.
Oh, yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny? If you didn't know the name of the group and you were listening to the song, you would always think it was somebody else that was a little bit more famous.
Yeah. No, it was a group called the Mystics. And I'm going to throw another one at you, Punk.
Yeah.
And you know the guy because you saw him when we went to Westbury.
Yeah, I was the next on my list.
Okay.
Guys, yeah.
So he, for the New York tri-state area, everybody knows "Where Are You, Little Star."
Yeah, great song.
So the name of that group was Vito Picone and the Elegants.
Yeah, he again did well with that.
Well, but not only do well with that, and he only had one song, but how many movies was he in?
Goodfellas, The Irishman.
Right.
He was in a couple other things.
He was a Scorsese regular.
Yeah, but that song is in so many movies. I mean, again, imagine the mailbox money that guy's made, the residuals he's gotten from.
And he needs every penny of it. He was married 3 times, and
he told us that. He said, "I remember I said to you, why is he telling us this shit? I don't want to know this."
And his wives own all his houses.
Yeah, he was really, really telling us way too much.
Yeah, he lived in Staten Island, by the way.
Does he really?
Yeah.
Here's another one. We saw them live. We saw one of them remaining. Sleepwalk.
Okay. Johnny Farina and Santo Farina.
Who did we see? Who was still alive?
Santo was dead. Johnny was alive.
Oh, okay.
And Johnny Farina, how he got into that, his father was in the Air Force.
Right.
And he was stationed in I don't know, Tulsa, Oklahoma. And he went to a bar one night and he saw this guy playing the steel guitar. And it blew his freaking mind. So when he got out of the service, he went home and he started playing the steel guitar, and he made his 2 sons do it.
Listen,
that song has been
La Bamba. Yeah. It's iconic in La Bamba.
Yeah.
It's iconic in how many, not even movies, but TV shows, as well as certain people use it for trailers to movies. I mean, it's everywhere.
Johnny Farina, he was Johnny Maestro's best friend.
Really?
Yeah, they both lived near each other on Long Island.
Since I Don't Have You.
Well, that's not a one-hit wonder.
Okay.
The Skyliners.
We saw them.
The Skyliners, Jimmy Beaumont and the Skyliners had a lot of hits.
Right. But that, again, there's one. Well, give me another one they had.
Oh, Pennies from Heaven. Every time it rains. Pennies from Heaven.
They're the originators of that one?
They're the originators of that.
But think about how many times we've seen Since I Don't Have You. Again, American Graffiti.
Right.
In that movie again.
100%. And Jimmy Beaumont had a good voice. He died 2 years ago. We saw him, if you recall, 2 weeks before he died.
Yeah.
He was on
And we were
stage.
saying he didn't look.
He
looked
didn't
a
look
little
good. He
off.
didn't sound good.
Yeah, it was a shame.
But he had a great voice. He was from Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I got one for you, dude. You're gonna love because we love the movie, and it's probably one of again the master covered it great. Sea of Love.
Phil Phillips.
And Tom Waits covers it amazing.
Oh,
Our friend Renfield.
The way Tom Waits sang that song blew my mind.
So different.
Yeah,
from
so
a great,
different.
Great movie. But again, in a perfect movie with the title and so many. How many times did that song play in that movie?
Oh, it was the subject of the movie. Every time the guy killed somebody, the song would come on. But that guy was named Phil Phillips.
Right.
Yeah, and you're right. Tom Waits did an amazing day. I mean, I couldn't believe it was the same song when I heard it. And then you said to me, "That's Sea of Love." I said, "Holy shit!"
Yeah.
Pardon my English.
Yeah. And again, how many times have we seen? That's an iconic song.
Oh,
I mean, that's like timeless.
Absolutely.
And it's simple too.
But think about these are one-hit wonders that have lasted through the ages.
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted to talk about today with you. I mean, if you were lucky to hit it with one song, that could keep your name and like you say, your mailbox money coming in.
I got one for you that's
Go ahead.
Never getting old. We laugh about it all the time. It's got that joke. What did I forgot how the joke goes, but I know the end is the title of the song, Tequila.
Okay. Why did the Mexican throw his wife off the roof? Tequila.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bad joke, right?
Yeah. Tequila, one-hit wonders. Probably one of the greatest entertainers and guitarists ever was the guitar player, was the lead guitar in that group. And that was Glenn Campbell.
That's amazing.
Yeah, Glenn Campbell had an amazing career. Okay, he was the Champs made one song, but it was in the late 50s. That was 58, I think.
Very good.
When that song came out, I was 10 years old, and you were starting to get traction, and it played so much. But Glenn Campbell, that people might not know, and they might have heard it in our other podcast, later became Brian Wilson's replacement for the Beach Boys. Yeah, because Brian didn't want to, go on tour anymore, so they hired Glenn Campbell. And Glenn Campbell, he said, I did it for a year, and I was ready to pull my hair out. And that guy had a lot of hair. He said...
Did Mommy meet him?
Mommy met him, yep.
Yeah.
But Glenn Campbell said the traveling was like insane.
Yeah.
And everywhere you went, and every time you tried to get serious, the girls screaming would drive you crazy.
I'll trade places with him any day.
And he said there were times the girls used to rush the stage.
Yeah, back in the day.
Yeah, so but he was that good.
And again, that song has a huge part thanks to Pee Wee Herman and Pee Wee's Big Adventure when he dances on the bar and gets all the bikers to, but that became again mega famous again. Here's a song I never liked the song, obviously. I mean, again, a lot of movies though. Short Shorts.
Okay. I'm glad you brought that one up because the name of that group was the Royal Teens.
How do you make a song called Short Shorts?
Who wears short shorts?
And then
we wear. Okay. The guy who wrote the song,
right,
appeared as a member of the group,
right,
went on to become a rock and roll Hall of Famer.
Really?
Of course.
Wow.
His name was Bob Gaudio.
The guy from
the Four Seasons.
Oh my God.
He wrote all the Four Seasons hits. An original member of the Four Seasons, and he was he still is a gifted songwriter. I mean, I can't tell you the number of songs that he wrote, and the one thing that probably the biggest hit that he ever had was Ragdoll.
Oh yeah, that's
okay. And I'll never forget. It was 1964. June 19th, 1964 was the day of my senior prom, right? So, of course, senior prom, you made a big deal out of it. We had a limousine, and your mother and I went to the limo, went to the party, to the prom, and she became the queen of the prom that night. Anyway.
Did you become the king?
No.
Those bastards.
Not me. I was with the queen, though. So
give everybody else the finger.
Right. So, yeah. So, anyway, we went to, we were pulling out of in front of your mother's house. We're pulling out, and the limousine on Skilmer Street. That was, I don't know how the limousine even got down the street. The street was so narrow. And the song comes on. This is brand new from the Four Seasons. It was about 5 o'clock at night. We were leaving, right?
Right.
And they played Ragdoll. And an hour later, they played Ragdoll.
Oh my God!
And then an hour later, they played Ragdoll. Now we're in the prom, right? We're at the prom. So we're coming out of the prom around midnight, and we were going to see. I'll never forget. We were going to a club called Basin Street East.
Right.
And on the show were the Smothers Brothers and Trini Lopez.
Oh, friend.
The same show.
Guitar,
yeah,
okay.
And it was amazing. But anyway, now it's like 1 o'clock in the morning. The Ali, the limousine driver whom my mother knew, said, I'm going to leave the radio. Yeah, leave the radio. 1 o'clock in the morning. Ragdoll. 3 o'clock in the morning. Ragdoll. We get in the car to come home. 5 o'clock in the morning. Ragdoll. So it was playing all night. And then the next day, it went to number one. It was one day on the chart, and it went boom.
So were people calling in requesting it?
Absolutely.
See, that's amazing that you mentioned that.
And the flip side of that song was another, a two-sided hit.
Right.
Silence is Golden.
Oh, wow.
That was remade by the Tremolos later on. But Silence is Golden was the flip side of Ragdoll.
See, you don't have that anymore when people call in and request on live radio.
Right. It was live radio. And that song, and how Bob Gaudio wrote that song was he was going to a recording session. Now, they already had Sherry. They had Walk Like a Man. Right. Well, actually, Sherry was number one. Big Girls Don't Cry was number two. Walk Like a Man was number three, and they were well on their way. They got
their catalog is ridiculous.
They went bang to the top.
Yeah.
And he's going to a recording session. He lived in New Jersey, and he's coming down the West Side Highway, and he stops for a light when he got off the West Side Highway, and there was a little girl who was cleaning his windshield.
Yeah, begging for money.
And she was dressed in rags.
Yeah.
And he looked at her and he said, "Oh my!" So he said, "I got to give her something." So he had a $20 bill. That's all he had. He gave it to her.
Yeah.
And she just didn't know what to say when she got the $20 bill. He said, No, go. It's fine.
Yeah.
He got to the studio that night and he said, I just saw. And within an hour, he had Ragdoll done.
Yeah.
He wrote it.
That's how the greats do it.
Yeah.
That's how the greats do it.
Well, Brian Wilson did it with Surfer Girl. And, and he did it with
In My Room.
No, the big one that he did that was Good Vibrations, walking down the street with his mother when the dog started to lick him.
Yeah.
So Ragdoll, was Bob Gaudio, but he was the founding member of Short Shorts. The Royal Teens, and then of course amazing. He's a founding member of the Four Seasons.
So two songs that I couldn't stand. That will, I guess, consider one-hit wonders. I remember you used to have like that. I think it was either a cassette or a CD. They used to have all the greatest hits, and I guess you would always pass it over like you didn't like it.
Right.
What's it called? Born Too Late. That stupid horn, dun, 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 dun. Yeah.
I hated that song. I don't like lollipop songs.
But tell them what you really call it. Bubblegum?
Bubblegum crap.
No, bubblegum. Say it. It's not a G-rated show.
You say it for
Bubblegum bullshit.
Right.
Yeah, it's the best thing ever. It's bubblegum bullshit.
Oh, the ponytails.
Right.
It was horrible. They had ponytails, so who gives a shit?
Right.
But they're singing Born Too Late. Better you didn't make the song.
It's all trumpet or horn.
Yeah, it's all.
The chorus is just all.
Born Too Late. There were three cute girls. I saw them on television a few times, but they never went anywhere.
Yeah, and the other one was
like the Angels. The Angels, my boyfriend's back. He's going to kick your ass tomorrow. yeah. So they made one song, but the claim to fame of the Angels was
right.
They were the traveling road partners of the Four Seasons. When the Four Seasons were on the road, back in the day, you'd go to a gig and you didn't fly you drove.
Right.
So they would be like say they were in Philadelphia tomorrow night and Baltimore the night after and Cleveland and wherever it was. The Angels travel with them. And the stories I heard about it, well, I can't talk about them on this. They're not for this show.
Yeah. But that's again, They
So
never had any other hits,
if
right?
their boyfriend's back, they didn't give a shit that the Four Seasons were,
Yeah, sure. Yeah. He takes second seat to Bob Gaudio and those guys. But the other one, again, one of the songs you used to pass over, couldn't stand it. One Summer Night.
Actually, One Summer Night, I didn't like it.
Yeah.
The name of the group was the Dan Lears.
Yeah.
And
that voice, I'm gonna choke him out.
One summer night.
It started off all right. Bo, yeah. Had the
yeah. You know what? I hated the song. I don't know why, but I did.
I know. I felt the same way, man. I can't listen to that shit. I mean, just not. Yeah.
So back now. I'm back in 1961, 1960. I'm 12 years old. I'm living on Skillman Street. And my cousin Camille, your Aunt Camille, who we love dearly, she was like into the music. And her brother was a little bit too young at the time, my cousin Joe.
The fifth Beatle,
yeah. So we're sitting in my grandmother's apartment on Skillman Street. And this song came on. Mother-in-law, mother-in-law, mother-in-law.
The worst,
and she's looking at me, she says, "What's that?"
The worst.
She asked me how much money I make, and the only solution if she would go home. The guy's name was Ernie K. Doe. That's the guy who made the song, Ernie K. Doe.
Oh, jeez.
And that was one of the worst freaking songs that I ever heard.
So you know what's funny though? Like they were again, looking at this as how the hell were they able to sell this shit? Because again, like I'm looking at when these came out. So like, okay, so in 50, what was it? In 50, 55, 56, obviously Elvis, The Birth of the King, and then, you had, like you were saying before, you had Buddy Holly, and you had all these great, and it looks like, again, I could understand Buddy Knox's Party Dog because it sounded exactly like that. I could understand, I liked Bebop-A-Lube. I totally understand that. I could understand the Silhouettes Get a Job because of the whole doo-wop thing coming on. But some of these, I mean, like, here's one. And again, not a bad song, but the name of the group is the Teddy Bears.
Yeah. What do you call?
To know
you is to love. To know you is to love.
Yeah.
They were on Channel 13.
Really?
They were.
Not a bad song.
No.
I could tell you. This again, it's in Casino. Love is Strange.
Oh. Love.
That iconic scene when he first sees Sharon Stone.
All right.
Yeah.
Mickey and Sylvia.
With the dice for all that stuff.
Mickey and Sylvia, right.
Yeah. Again, got to give kudos to John Fogerty and Creedence. Susie Q.
Susie Q. Actually, Susie Q goes back to before rock and before the rock and roll days. It was a country western song.
Okay.
Dale Hawkins was the guy who made it popular.
Yeah.
But that song is like a country western staple.
Right. Okay, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
But they covered that.
John Fogerty. Susie, I love anything Fogerty does, but that song he
part 1 and 2.
Part 2, yeah.
When it comes back,
when it comes great back. Song.
And then here's again one of the most great songs. So many gangster movies. Shaboom.
Oh.
I think it's in every gangster movie there is.
Shaboom, shaboom. When I was a kid, I think I was 7 years old when my mother was making me sing that song when we were at anybody used to come over the house for a holiday.
Oh, you were the entertainment?
I was the entertainment.
There you go.
The name of the group was The Chords.
Very good, man.
Yeah.
Excellent. And again, they have definitely cleaned up. I always thought Rocket 88 was Chuck Berry.
No, and that was dealing with my Rocket. The guy who made that song was Ike Turner.
Oh, wasn't Jackie Brenston and his Delta Cats?
Nope. Okay. Ike Turner.
He wrote that.
Ike Turner wrote the song, and he played it, and he's responsible for it.
Right. Okay.
A lot of people would, Chuck Berry, it sounded like it could have been a Chuck Berry song, but Ike Turner was the man.
He's got the whole world in his hands.
Mahalia Jackson.
Okay.
Now that's I'm saying Mahalia Jackson because she was a gospel singer.
Yeah, that's right. I always thought it was a gospel song. I
Yeah,
mean, it was.
and she was one of these wonderful women who would take kids in and try and show them the right way and stuff like that. She was blessed. I mean, but that was her song,
Hey,
and
listen.
she got screwed over it.
Really?
I don't mean the word figuratively. Yeah, well, who's showing up on the list? I'm not.
Laurie London.
Yeah,
You got to give your classic bullshit line.
yeah. That was stolen from Mahalia Jackson. That was her song.
And I'm sure that goes
Laurie
back.
London. Laurie London's probably a stage name for some record producer's wife.
Yeah, that's good.
I'm
That's
telling
a good
you.
point. That's good. I don't remember this song, but you would. The name of the band I remember you mentioning, "Summertime, Summertime." Is that
Summertime, Summertime.
Oh my God!
Pain in the ass song.
Yeah, exactly. Pain in the ass.
And the name of the group was the Jamies.
Yeah, how do you name your group the Jamies?
I
Come
don't know.
on,
I
man.
mean, but they were again a one-hit wonder of a miserable song, in my opinion.
Rumble.
Rumble.
Yeah,
That was the
that draws a blank to me. I don't know that
Rumble.
one. Yeah, Link Ray. And
Link Ray. But again, the song he might have covered it.
Right.
The song was on the album I told you about. The Paragons Meet the Jesters.
Oh, okay.
Rumble
How
was
did
the name
go?
was the name of the song.
I don't remember.
It was the name of the album.
Okay.
So he probably covered it, but it was either the Paragons or the Jesters.
How did it go? What was the?
Oh, it was like a dark song, okay. Rumble. It was like teen gangs fighting.
Okay, because I've heard that in a couple of different movies and TV.
Right.
I'm just looking at the Sandy.
Sandy.
Yeah, I never heard that song. Larry Hall.
Yeah, but who made it famous?
I don't know. You tell me.
Come on.
Sandy.
I love you so much, Sandy. I long for your touch. Better luck the next time, Sandy. Ooh, ah.
I don't know. Who's that?
Dion Demucci.
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow. Yeah, I never.
Dion Demucci made a couple of songs that had big hits with them, but they weren't his song. He was covering them. And Sandy was one of them.
I got one for you that, again, it's one of those songs that I got to admit, not to sound whatever, when it comes on, I want to smash the radio, but 10 minutes later, it'll be in my head. Pink Shoelaces.
Oh.
I got to admit, there was some, I don't know why, it's just
he wore tan shoes and pink shoelaces,
trying to memorize
a polka dot
shit.
hair and nano man. He wore pan shoes, and his name was, the woman who made it was named Dodie Stevens, but the song was about her boyfriend who had tan shoes and pink shoelaces.
Was he a schmuck on wheels?
He was a schmuck on wheels.
Yeah, serious. I would have thought twice because Here Comes Summer.
Here Comes Summer. Okay, there were two versions of Here Comes Summer.
Right.
Okay. I don't know what group you're reading, but Here Comes Summer was sung by
Jerry Keller.
Jerry Keller. He was actually Jerry Keller. Jerry Keller probably originated it. And then there was another song, Here Comes Summer, that Joni Summers sang, but it didn't chart.
Okay.
And Joni Summers was famous. It was another one-hit wonder that was famous. Johnny be angry, Johnny gets mad.
I don't know that.
I want a caveman. I want a brave man. Johnny, tell me that you really care for me.
See, I didn't know that one. That's funny. Oh,
I'm sorry that I'm singing
great.
too much today,
great,
and I don't have the voice to do it. But.
Again, if you saw Stand By Me, Melanie, especially you, because you friggin' watched this movie on repeat, I Ran All the Way Home.
I Ran All the Way Home was a great song by a Brooklyn group.
Okay.
The Impalas was the name of the group.
Very good. But they were named after cars. Yeah, well, the time, yeah.
I ran all the way home. Yeah. One of the first interracial groups.
Really? Like the Del Vikings.
Right. Like Johnny Maestro, the Crests, when he sang with the Crests.
Right.
But this was the first, one of the first interracial groups, and the lead singer had a great voice. His name was Joe Frazier. No relationship to the fighter. Was it really? Joe Frazier.
Did he throw a mean?
They all lived in Brooklyn. They lived in. I'll tell you where they came from. They came from the section of Brooklyn that we now call probably down by Georgetown area, they call it. It's down, where Gil Hodges bowling alley is.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Mill Basin?
Old Mill Basin.
Mill Basin. Yeah,
That's
we used
correct.
to go bowling there with
That's
Uncle
where
Joe.
that's where they came from.
Yeah, which became, I think it's still a bowling alley, but my buddy Joe, who owns Limitless Gym, started there with, I forgot the name, but that was, before it was it was a gym.
Okay.
Still is next door, but the bowling alley was next door. I didn't know that. That's where they were from.
They were from that area.
All right, so moving on to so now we're moving into, I got one last from the 50s. I know you've played this song a million times when we were little. The Battle of New Orleans.
Well, not a one-hit wonder.
Okay.
The name of the artist was Johnny Horton.
Oh, the great Johnny Horton.
The great Johnny Horton.
See, this must be, I don't know, this is Jimmy Driftwood. But
He,
that could have been a moniker for something else.
Yeah, well, he sounds
they did that.
Well, Jimmy Driftwood was very famous for writing the song Driftwood. Driftwood, a floating piece of residue.
He wrote a song.
No, I'm kidding.
Oh, all right. Hey, that was pretty good.
So the Battle of New Orleans, that was his first chart hit, but he had 5 great hits. He had Sink the Bismarck.
Great song.
Okay. North to Alaska.
I don't know.
North to Alaska. And it was about the gold rush.
He's the guy who sung "We Fired Our Guns." The British kept coming.
That's the Battle of New Orleans.
Oh, it's a great song, man. You used to play that.
We
all
fired
the time.
our guns and the British kept coming. There wasn't as many as there was a while ago. We fired once more and they began a running down the Mississippi to the Gulf of Mexico.
Great song. Yeah.
But my favorite Johnny Horton song is "Sink the Bismarck."
Yeah, he always had like a historic.
Right.
Is he still alive?
No.
Okay.
No.
I was gonna say, I wonder how he was able to do those live.
He used to wear the bow tie to look like Colonel Sanders, with the things sticking down.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, he was very good.
Yeah, those were good songs, man.
Yep.
And then moving on, I hate this song with a friggin' passion. Teen Angel. Give me a break. I'll hang myself. I know
shit. that cousin Brucey used to call that the teenagers' lament.
Oh, it's like so depressing.
Mark Dinning was the name of the guy who made
stabbed me.
But that was the name, Mark Dinning, the one-hit wonder.
You mentioned already "Stay" by Maurice Williams and the Zodiacs.
Right. Oh, by the way, I started to tell you about Maurice Williams.
Great name, by the way. Sounds like either like a really good wide receiver or like a good power forward.
But so the song was famous in trivia contests. I never finished it. I digress when we were talking about Mount Airy Lodge. That's what we do,
man.
Yeah.
It's what we do.
I know, I'm terrible for that.
No, they say the most, I'd say this towards you, the smartest people do that.
Well, I don't know about that, but the trivia portion of that song was the shortest record made up to that point. It was under 2 minutes. It was 1 minute and 57 seconds.
Perfect though for recording studios.
Yeah.
In and out, and you made money.
Right. But Maurice Williams was a songwriter.
Okay.
And his biggest song that he ever wrote was "Little Darlin'" for the Diamonds.
Oh, great song.
Right.
American Graffiti.
Right. Little Darlin', bump, bump. The Diamonds were a Canadian group.
Did we see them?
No, we never saw them. You saw them on Channel 13.
Okay.
They were on all the time.
Okay.
But they were from Canada.
So here you go, another one. I never knew this was a one-hit wonder, but another song in so many different movies. I hear it now, obviously covered by somebody else. Made big again, horrible friggin' movie, but a guilty pleasure. Teen Wolf 2, Do You Love Me?
Oh, Do You Love Me? Now, that song was made by a group from Detroit.
Okay.
Called the Contours.
Good name for a
Do
group.
You Love Me?
Yeah.
I didn't really love me. The lead singer for the Contours, went on to become one of the Temptations when they got rid of David Ruffin because of all his drug stuff.
Right.
And he was one of the lead singers of the Temptations. Dennis Edwards was his name.
Right.
And Dennis Edwards later had his own knockoff group of the Temptations, calling the Temptations Review.
Oh, I'm surprised you were allowed to get away with that.
He did. But Dennis Edwards had a great song, and you'll know who he was when you hear the songs. You know you don't leave me. Bam, 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 bam.
Yeah. Great song. Yeah. Very good.
Right.
Let's see. Moving on. Obviously, we said Monster Mash. Thank you, Melanie. Use name Johnny Get Angry.
Joni Summers.
Joni Summers,
Right.
a great song, one of my favorites. Rhythm of the Rain.
A group called the Cascades made the Rhythm of the Rain.
One hit
wonder.
Such a good song, though.
Listen to the
and the piano was nice,
and you also hear the thunder.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was really. It's funny you mentioned that because they were one of the first groups to do that, and then the Doors, remember, did Riders on the Storm, and
Right.
they added the storm thing in the background, which is iconic.
Well, actually, the Cascades got that song with the thunder in it.
Yeah.
From the Four Seasons.
Really?
Tell it to the rain. Tell it to the rain, all the stars that shine. A Bob Gaudio hit. That's me you're thinking of, and I'm your love. Tell it to the rain, dun dun dun. Then you hear the thunder coming in.
Yeah, I got one for you. One of our favorites. You gotta like it, man. Every time it comes on, you sing it. Good name for a group. Tell 'em.
Okay.
A lot of movies.
Tell him that you're never gonna leave him. Tell him that you're always gonna love him. Tell him right now.
Bong,
The name of the group was a group called the Exciters.
Yeah.
And their lead singer, they were from Philadelphia. They were in competition with the Orleans at the time. The Orleans, Wah Wah Tusi.
Oh,
Wah,
God.
Wah Wah Tusi.
That's a painful song.
Yeah, but it was a big hit.
Oh, gee. Was that a dance?
It was a dance. It was supposed to be a dance, but the song was a big hit.
Okay.
But the Orleans were great. South Street, where do all the hippies meet?
See, I don't know that one. That's funny.
Street. Okay.
But this
the Exciters, the girl's name who was the lead singer of
she had a nice voice.
Brenda Savoy. She was great.
Great voice.
But one hit.
One laugh, though?
Yes, I need to laugh now.
There you go. The movie, you never saw it, but it was a continuation of the movie Cloverfield, 10 Cloverfield Lane with John Goodman. There's a whole segment of the movie, a good 3 minutes. That song is like throughout the movie.
Tell 'em? Yeah.
I was like, damn, that's a big one.
In Philadelphia, Philadelphia had great groups.
Yeah.
I mean,
is that where they were from?
Yeah, and great artists. Frankie Avalon, Fabian, Bobby Rydell.
You like Fabian or no?
No,
yeah, exactly.
he was a good-looking guy who couldn't do shit. You had Chubby Checker, who was amazing.
Yeah, he's good talent.
You had Dee Dee Sharp. You had Len Barry. Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, good voice.
Yeah,
good voice.
Yeah,
man.
And they did the Bristol Stomp and Hully Gully.
Yeah,
and you had the Orleans, and a lot of good groups come out of Philadelphia.
I Will Follow Him.
I Will Follow Him was a big one-hit wonder. It was a big hit, huge hit, by a little girl who was about 14. Her name was Little Peggy March.
And thanks to what's it called? What's the movie we like? The Sister Act.
That was
front and brought it back again. Brought it back.
I Will Follow Him.
Yeah,
right.
Brought it back. Just One Look. Good song. Very good song.
I'm trying to Just One Look. That's all it took. Now, that song was made a big hit by who? Do you remember? One of my favorite ever groups. One of my favorite ever groups.
I Felt So Hard. I don't know that one. I know the song.
Sing the song for me.
Just One Look
is all it took.
Yeah,
right.
And I felt so hard, hard. Remember, it was also What You're Drinking too. The famous commercial with
Pepsi Cola.
Right. Remember in the 90s they had that famous commercial. That song was playing, and Cindy Crawford gets out of the car, gets the Pepsi from the machine. The little kid's looking at her as she's sweaty.
Okay.
That song was playing.
I don't remember that.
Oh yeah, it made it super famous.
The Hollies.
They did.
Oh
that,
man, did they make a hit out of it?
I didn't know. I got to hear that.
They're one of my favorite groups.
No, I know
ever.
that, but they must have sung it 10 times better than this friggin' group. That's for sure.
What group was that?
The originators of this song, Doris Troy, rather.
Doris Troy was a good singer.
Yeah, no, I'm saying they must.
Just One Look. But the Holly.
It was a woman, obviously.
Woman, yeah.
Okay.
But I remember her singing when I.
Oh, wait a second. That is the version then I'm talking about. You're right. The Hollies is the more famous version.
Oh, the Hollies version of it was.
So that was the one in the commercial because you can't miss. Who's the lead singer of the David Crosby?
No, Graham Nash.
Graham Nash. Thank you.
Actually, it was Graham Nash, Tony Hicks, the whole. They were that group. If you I have a disc that you should watch, The Best of the Hollies. I mean, he's not heavy. He's my brother.
Yeah, great songs.
The Air That I Breathe.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
one of my
great,
favorite
great
all-time
songs, man.
songs.
Great songs. They got into the Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah,
Well deserved.
Oh,
David
yeah.
Crosby been there a couple times.
He wasn't a part of the Hollies.
I always think he was part of
No,
the Hollies. I
no,
don't know
no,
why.
no,
You know,
no.
like you said, Graham Nash, Crosby, Stills, Nash, Young.
Right.
Again, yeah. I'm
But
sorry.
but David Crosby, you're probably thinking of
The Birds.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
There you go.
Here's-
They were part of the Laurel Canyon groups.
That's where he was from.
A lot of groups came from Laurel Canyon.
Oh, there's a
and they
great
lived
documentary.
The Doors lived there.
Yeah, great documentary about
the Mamas and the Papas lived there.
Yeah, there's a documentary about all the artists from Laurel Canyon. I
Right.
think it was on Netflix. They have a great soundtrack from there that your son, my brother-in-law,
and
has.
you've been to Laurel Canyon because I took you there.
Yeah, it was really friggin' narrow. We went at night. Then it was a bad idea.
And then we went. And where did we go from there? Where did I take you?
We went to go see. We went to go see where the Charles Manson.
I took you to Cielo Drive.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
We walked up Cielo Drive.
Yeah, we didn't stick out like sore thumbs.
No, here come these two doofuses.
Yeah.
From,
Here come these two Guidos. They're not from around these spots.
Yeah.
Pipeline.
The Shantays.
Great song.
Very good
So
song.
many movies.
Right.
There's one, again, funny scene from the movie Dutch. So many different, oh, God, American Graffiti 2, the helicopter scene.
In Vietnam.
That's
right.
right? When it's going down. Okay, you laugh at this one because you probably know all the...
Here's one that I gotta.
I know what you're going to say next.
I hate this freaking song with all that I have. Because when you go to a wedding, or you go to a bar mitzvah, or you go to a graduation party, and there's a band, and or it's a DJ, and then invariably, people have to get up to do the Alley Cat.
Oh,
I hate that song. And the name of the group who had a hit with it was called Bent Fabric in 1962.
You had to be on acid to get that name.
I hated that song with a passion.
Oh, yeah,
I hate it today.
I got it right here. So we said, I got one for you because you funny that you know the words sukiyaki.
Now let me talk about sukiyaki because I know every word of it in Japanese,
which is really fucking weird.
Well, I used to work with the Japanese a lot, so the guy who made the song was a very young man by the name of Q Sakamoto.
Right.
Kyu Sakamoto. And he had a big hit with it. And Arikorauri Nakidanya Kobore Nariono Nakita Naka Ahuno.
What does that actually mean?
It's a love song.
I would figure that, yeah.
And Q Sakamoto, unfortunately, was killed in a plane crash. It was a big plane crash flying from Tokyo to Osaka. And he was on the plane, but he was going to be a big star. He was going to be in Japan. He was already a star, and he was. This song it went right to the top of the charts.
I got one that you used to have. It reminds me of when we used to have had a house in Saw Creek where it would be on that greatest whatever. It's not a bad song. Romeo and Juliet.
Just like Romeo and Juliet.
I
love that song.
It's not bad. I can tolerate
Reflections?
that. Yeah. Good name for a band.
The name of the band was The Reflections.
Yeah.
And I always thought they were a black group.
Good.
They weren't. They were a white group.
Well, speaking of, I don't know if this gentleman was...
I'm starting out tomorrow morning. Don't know whatever's going to happen. That was the Reflections.
This gentleman, I think, I don't know, you tell me, was he African-American? Jewel Atkins?
Jewel Akins was an African-American.
Good song.
The Birds and the Bees.
Yeah, good song,
Let me tell you
a lot of movies.
The birds
a lot
and
of
the
movies
bees
I've
and
seen.
The flowers and the trees and the moon up above and a thing called love.
Good song.
Good
and
song.
that great little instrumental. Yeah, it's good, man.
Jewel Akins.
Really good.
Yep.
Okay, the next one, obviously. Listen. You're not even. I'm not. The picture of Elvis. I'm King. Don't worry. I know. I got you. Suspicion.
Okay, I have to go into a story about Suspicion because Joe Perry and I never missed a rock and roll show at the Paramount or the Fox downtown Brooklyn, and it was Murray the K's. 2 times a year had a big rock and roll show. And this time it wasn't Murray the K. It was the good guys, the WMCA disc jockeys.
Right.
And the guy must have been about 6'6".
Right.
You know, the singer.
Okay.
And they introduced him, and he looked like Horace Husneck coming out to sing this song.
Is that a real person, Horace?
No, it's just a name. It's a name I've coined.
Yeah.
Terry Stafford was his name. He was from Texas.
Yeah.
Suspicion. He tried to be Elvis, but he was 6 foot. He should have been playing for the Globetrotters.
Yeah.
I mean, you never heard from him anymore.
Yeah.
But his name was Terry Stafford. He had blonde hair.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Joe Perry and I said, who the hell is this guy?
And how would this song go? Every
time you call me, I sure
Elvis
not
covered it
you
then.
did
Made a hit out of it.
Bum, 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 bum. Every time you're not. Yeah. You told me that you torments my mind.
Yeah.
Suspicion tears us apart.
Yeah.
I made it real.
Great song, man. Great song. Moving on.
That was a TV show in the 70s, starring Claude Akins, about 2 guys who used to drive trucks.
Really?
Yeah, I love that show.
Claude Akins, the man.
Yeah.
Here's a great one. Want to laugh? Little info about the song. The great Jimmy the Mouth of the South Heart was in this group.
Get out of here.
Yeah. The Gentrys.
Oh, I keep on dancing.
Great song. Yeah.
Dancing and a prancing.
Yeah, he was in that group, man.
Yeah. Okay.
Great
song. The Gentrys.
You used to play the song all the time. It's made famous in, again, 2 movies. I believe it's in Full Metal Jacket, and I know for sure it's in American Graffiti 2. Primarily the part where Terry the Toad is trying to walk out of Vietnam, and it's Ballad of the Green Berets.
Oh, okay. I love that song.
Yeah, you always
kind of sad.
It is sad.
The name of the artist who did it was Staff Sergeant Lieutenant Barry Sadler.
Yep.
He really was a Green Beret.
Yep.
And he was singing about how it took, what the training was, and how only they'd have 100 men to test, and only 3 would win the Green Beret. Great song. It was during Vietnam.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a song I absolutely cannot stand. Hence, because it's a terrible song. B, because it's the name of the group is probably one of the NBA teams that I hate the most, and I live in the city. Lies.
The Knickerbockers.
I hate that song.
Yeah, Lies.
Oh,
Lies.
Sounds like Chipmunks.
I know,
right?
I know. Horrible
what is
song.
that? How did you record that crap?
I don't know. They only had 1 hit. It wasn't such a big hit.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
This next song, listen, if it wasn't for Chris Columbus and Home Alone 2, this song got famous again for the shower scene. Cool Jerk.
Oh, Cool Jerk. Cool Jerk.
He makes the clown point at the uncle. You get out of here, you little jerk. I'm going to slap you. Silly.
Yeah, he was in the shower.
Yeah.
The Capitals.
Yep.
1-hit wonders.
Good song. The next one. Good name for a band, too. Black is Black.
Yeah.
I know it resonates something stupid, doesn't it?
I'll tell you why it resonates, because I'm laughing. I had just started to drive.
Right.
And I was driving down Myrtle Avenue in my father's Cadillac. My father had this Cadillac that was like, I don't know how the hell I ever parked it. It had the long fins. And, it made me become a better driver. And I'm driving down Myrtle Avenue, and your mother's in the car with me. We were 18.
Right.
1966. And this song comes on, and she said to me, I never heard this song before. So I was one of my stupid moods, right? And I turned it up really loud.
Yeah.
And they opened the windows.
Right.
And I'm on Myrtle Avenue, and I don't know, probably Myrtle Avenue and Vanderbilt, somewhere down there. And I started singing it. Black is black. I want my baby back.
Right.
And she's getting embarrassed because it was a summer day. People are looking. I'm screaming it, and it's so loud.
You cranked it?
I cranked it.
Yeah.
The name of the group was Los Bravos.
Good song, though.
Yep.
He had a nice voice, that guy, man.
Actually, they found him someplace, and he was on one of those Channel 13 shows. I don't know where they got him. But
he had a very good voice, man. Next song, I don't know. It became cancel culture bullshit or whatever the case. I always liked it. I was just listening to it the other day because, again, we find out what it's about. So they're coming to take me away. Haha.
That song was banned
I can't understand why.
because
the meaning was about a dog.
it was about a dog. But when you heard it, you didn't know it, and they thought it was about mental illness.
Right. I love that song, man.
He had a crazy name, Lord. No, not Lord.
Think Waterloo.
Yeah, the fourth. He was
When you have a Watt complex.
I know. Napoleon the Fourth.
Very
That was his
good.
name.
Great song.
Yeah, but I don't know where he got the fourth from, but that's who he was.
I always enjoyed
coming to take me,
Yeah.
you mangy mutt.
Yeah, it was about one of our next one's one of our favorite songs of all times. Hence, because it's in American Graffiti 2, Bobby, whatever you do, don't hit those garbage cans.
Yeah.
96 Tears. Love that song,
96
man.
Tears. A lot of organ in that song.
Great song, man.
Yeah, and the name of the group obviously was Question Mark and the Mysterians.
That's one of the greatest names for a group I've ever heard in my life.
Question Mark and the Mysterians.
And it's such every time I got it on my my phone when I lift. I got a mix.
Yeah.
And I always love the No, we got some time.
We got time? Okay, good.
Winchester Cathedral.
New Vaudeville Band. Winchester Cathedral. Da 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 da. Now, the New Vaudeville Band was a spinoff of what band?
I don't know. You tell me. You're the.
I'm not anything.
No,
but
you're
the New Vaudeville
music,
Band. They had one hit called Winchester Cathedral, but there was another group called the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band.
Ooh.
That came out, and they had the song about the dancer, the old black dancer used to on Hard Times, and he would dance for.
I can't think of the name.
He would Sammy Davis Jr. made a big hit out of it, but he used to dance for nickels and dimes in bars.
Not a minstrel.
No, well, yeah, name of the song is not minstrel, but what he was similar to that.
Okay. You want to laugh for the longest time? I don't know. You correct me. Did that
his dog up and died, and 20 years later he still grieves. That touched my heart when he sang that part.
Sounds like us.
20 years later he still grieves. He traveled the South with his dog. Mr. Bojangles.
Oh, Mr. Bojangles. Right.
Yeah.
Right. I always thought the next one was, when I was young, was covered by was the Beach Boys. It obviously wasn't. Bend Me, Shape Me, because it had right along
American Breed.
A great song.
Yeah,
because it kind of had that Beach Boys sound to it. School and stuff like that, and
the Beach Boys,
inspired a whole.
Well, Jan and Dean existed because of Brian Wilson.
Yeah, we were talking about that in our last one. Right. This list has For What It's Worth by Buffalo Springfield. I mean, was that a one-hit wonder?
Buffalo Springfield wasn't a one-hit wonder.
No, they had a lot of songs, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. This also has, and maybe you can correct it, Worst That Could Happen. That was Johnny Maestro.
That's correct. And that was part of the Brooklyn Bridge. Now, they might have called it a one-hit wonder because Johnny Maestro had all the songs that charted with the crests.
Oh, okay.
Calling All Angels.
Great song.
Happy birthday, happy birthday, right.
Baby.
Oh, I love 16 Candles, right?
That's the beginning to American Graffiti.
And if you remember, there was one night, I don't know if you were there, you might not have been there. Johnny Maestro was performing in Westbury.
Yeah, we saw him a couple times.
And Elizabeth's 16th birthday was coming up.
Yep.
And he mentioned her, because they mentioned like 6 or 7 girls' names that before they sang the song, and she was one of them.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Johnny Maestro was Johnny Maestrangello, one of the greatest voices ever. He belongs in the Hall of Fame for crying out tears.
Yeah, great live too. We saw him a couple times live.
Yeah.
He killed it.
Oh yeah.
We saw him in AC once live. He was great.
Yep.
We saw him in
Long Island.
Then we saw him live. Remember, we saw him he was
at the 50th anniversary.
Doing pretty damn good. I don't know. I don't know if you would know this. I don't know any other songs by him, but one of my favorite songs, Inagata Davida.
I don't know that song.
I Am Butterfly.
Oh, I don't.
Dun 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 dun.
I've heard. I don't
so
know
many movies.
Yeah.
I don't know any other hits they had.
Yeah.
I wasn't really sure of any other hits they had. Let's see. Something in the Air. Cool name for a group or a singer. I don't know.
Well, who is it?
Thunderclap Newman.
Don't know.
Yeah, I never heard that. The next one, of course, everyone knows. You sing it at every sports event when you're blowing the team out or someone gets thrown out of the game. There you go.
Na. Hey, hey, hey. Goodbye.
Yeah, whoever that
The name of the group was Steam.
Yeah, well, they cleaned up thanks to a lot of sporting events and whatnot.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah. What about? I'm gonna interject a couple myself here, if you don't
yeah,
mind.
go.
Come on down to my boat, baby.
Come on down to my boat. Good song. Good song. I like that.
Who was the name of the group?
I don't know.
One hit wonders, every mother's son.
Wow,
That was the name of the group.
That's pretty good.
And the other song that comes to my mind.
I got one because we saw them. Hey there, lonely girl.
Eddie Holman.
He was good.
Yeah, he was.
He was good.
And he's still touring today.
Yeah, he admitted. Remember, he said this song's done pretty well for me.
Yeah,
and
he's had a great
high pitched voice.
Very good.
Very nice.
And what about the one we used to make fun of when he used to sing? I'm going to the spirit in the sky.
Great song. Right. Newman, right?
Close.
Okay, something.
Norman Greenbaum.
Love that song. Listen, right. It's in every movie. Michael with John Travolta. It's in every movie possible. You can't get hit with that song without it being in a it's in commercials now, and it's a great song. I got one for you. You'll laugh at because
I got one. I'm going to stick in quickly.
Go.
You were on my mind.
I don't know that.
You never heard that? No. You were on my mind.
No, I don't know what that is.
The name of the group was We Five.
I got one. Get Together.
Get Together. Yes. Now I'm trying to remember that. I think that was more than one person sang that.
Yeah, that's.
I don't know what list you're looking at, but
I'm just looking at a whole thing here. The Youngbloods.
Yeah, I know it was the Youngbloods. Okay. But Get Together. But there was somebody else who made it, and that's going to rack my brain. I'll probably figure it out at 3:00 in the morning.
That's what usually happens to me too.
Yeah.
You know this.
The Youngbloods. The Youngbloods did make that song.
More Today Than Yesterday.
I love you more today. The Spiral Staircase.
How could you name a band Spiral Staircase? When I think of Spiral Staircase, I think of the Charles Manson house they lived in. Remember, for the family was living in that house with the Spiral Staircase. That's what I thought. I was like, oh, did it have something to do with them?
That's
and then we saw this guy. You used to call this song Bubblegum Bullshit. It was made famous by the cartoon and the comic book Sugar Sugar.
Yeah, Ron Dante, who was very talented.
Yeah, we saw him live. He was good.
The Archies was the name of the group it went by. But Ron Dante is a very, very talented guy. In fact, when we go to see, in fact, we're going in June, by the way. Don't forget. I think it's June the 11th.
Right.
We're going. In fact, last night the Buckinghams were on Cousin Brucey. And they were talking about that they're part of the Happy Together tour this year.
Oh, wow.
And Brucey said to him, how many dates do you have? He said, we have 53 dates.
Wow.
The tour is 53 cities.
Wow.
Okay.
That's great.
Yeah. And he said, in fact, we have to get off the tour and then back on it because we have our own stuff going on. But Ron Dante, when the Turtles, who are in charge of the Happy Together tour, they made a fortune on this the last 10 years. When Howard Kalin was sick, he filled in for Howard Kalin as one of the Turtles.
Yeah, he did a good job.
He was very good.
And I'm looking at going into. There was so many in the 70s, too. I just see here that...
I'm not so great on the 70s.
No, me neither. There's one in particular, though, Mississippi Queen by the band Mountain. The guy who was the lead singer just passed away not too long ago. He was the dude... Remember the movie The Money Pit with Tom Hanks?
Yeah.
Remember the guy who came to see him who had that all-girl band that they dressed up as women, and he tells Tom Hanks, we want to change the name of our band to Meryl Streep. And Tom Hanks says, I don't think that'd be a good idea. Yeah. He is actually the lead singer of the band, Mountain, Mississippi Queen. My brother Christian knows him really well. Norman Greenbaum, I see.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I look at some of these lists, and I don't study them, but I read a lot of stuff. And everybody's saying the line. I had a fight with some guy. Not a fight, but we had a bet.
Right.
And some guy said to me, you're supposed to know all this stuff. I said, well, what do you mean?
Right.
I have a guy in my office that I swear to God, Matt Nunez
Challenges you?
No, he doesn't challenge me.
Stupid to do.
No, he's one of the nicest young men I ever met.
I'm saying, Matt, don't challenge the Jedi.
No, Matt Nunez comes to me every day.
Okay.
He said, I have 10 minutes. Teach me.
Right.
He'd say to me, I'm in his office one day, and and the song comes on, and it was by Curtis Mayfield and the Impressions.
Okay.
And he said, how did you know that? I said, well, it's Curtis Mayfield.
Right.
I said, you never heard of Curtis Mayfield? He said, no. I said, well, part of that group was Jerry the Iceman Butler, and he's going in his mouth. He said, I've heard these songs, but so he comes in every 10 minutes a day. Well, who are we going to talk about today? I said, you name it, and we'll talk about it. So he brought in, who did he bring in last week? He said, I wanted to hear about, I think it was a song that Johnny Rivers did.
Okay.
And I told him who Johnny Rivers was. Johnny Rivers Stella from New Orleans, and he had Secret Agent Man was the one that he was asking about.
Great song.
So I mean, he's a sweetheart of a guy, and I'm giving him a call out because he said he wants to listen. So
here's one I despise with a passion, just because it's like I want to hang myself type of song. Beach Baby.
Beach Baby.
Yeah.
Now that song is not really. The group had about 9 names.
Really?
Yeah, they sang all different songs. Beach Baby, I hated the song. I never paid attention to it. I could care less about it. But they were fake. What name are they showing in this?
I see the First Class.
Yeah, they went by 9 different other names.
Wow.
So they were a nobody. They were, you know what they were like? They were like a recording studio band.
Oh, like session guys.
Session guys.
Okay, yeah, some of them did well.
Some of them did.
I don't know this song, Little Girl.
Little Girl.
Yeah.
Not Clint Holmes' version, is it?
No, this would probably be the original Syndicate of Sound.
Oh yeah, the Syndicate of Sound.
Yeah, I never heard that one.
That was an instrumental song, Little Girl, the way they did it. But
right.
they did come in and sing some there was some words in it, but there was heavy band.
Yeah, I never. I'm again. There's some of these I'm not. Judy in Disguise.
J. Fred and the Playboy Band.
How does that go?
Judy in Disguise. Dun, dun, dun,
oh
yeah. Where you are. Bum, bum,
I got one for you. You would know this.
Lemonade tie and.
I mean, what are they singing?
I don't know. They're singing
was the Randy and the Rainbows had one hit?
Randy Safuto.
I mean, it's a great song.
Denise.
Remember, it's in the end of The Sopranos.
Yeah.
So many movies.
So when I was in high school, I got in trouble. I'll never forget. I had a teacher by the name of Brother Pius. And he was I don't know what he was, English, whatever he was. And he used to hum the song, "Oh, Denise." He always singing the song. So I said to him one day, "Brother, you like that song, Denise?" He said, "Yeah, I think it's catchy." I said, "Did you ever hear the uncle?"
What?
Or the nephew? The niece? The nephew.
That's pretty good.
And he goes, "What are you, a wise guy?"
That's pretty good. Was that a one-hit wonder, though?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And he was around till he died about 3 years ago. He was in Westbury, always as part of those rock and roll shows.
Good song.
Dick Fox's shows.
Yeah, very, very good song.
Denise, ooby-doo. I'm in love with you, Denise, ooby-doo.
Great song.
Randy and the Rainbows.
This one, oh, wait, you were singing it before. It's actually not a bad song. Come on down to my boat.
Every Mother's Son.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Come on down to my boat,
that's a
baby.
good song. I enjoyed that.
Come on down where we can play.
Yeah. I don't know this one. Nobody But Me.
Nobody. Oh,
that's that one?
Nobody
okay.
But me. Yeah.
That's again, they don't have many words in the song.
No, it's nobody.
Yeah, it reminds me of who's the guy who sings, dun 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 dun.
Yeah. It's one of those songs.
Yeah.
Nobody But Me.
Oh, is that who? Speaking of which, who sings that? That's not our friend, the Detroit Rider, right?
Mitch Ryder and the Detroit Wheels.
That's not him, right?
No.
Okay.
Mitch Ryder made Jenny Take a Ride.
Yeah, he's good stuff.
Yeah.
We were supposed to see him, but he didn't. He was sick or something.
And the other song, he had a couple of songs. He was from Detroit.
Yeah, actually. He was really. You said he had the crazy hair and all that.
Yeah.
looking at one you mentioned before, the Lemon Pipers, Green Tambourine. Here's one.
Hated that song.
What the hell is Classical Gas?
Mason Williams. It's an instrumental.
Oh.
In fact, it's pretty good. I heard Glenn Campbell play it once. He was really good.
I thought it's like when you're wearing a really nice suit and you fart. That's what I figured.
Or you could be singing classical music or playing it and you fart.
You rip a fart.
Yeah.
What's Fire?
Fire.
What the hell is that?
Beat me to burn. The Crazy World of Arthur Conley.
Is that a group or a band?
It's a guy.
I never heard that.
Fire. But he made another song that wasn't...
Water? I don't know.
No. Yeah, it could be.
How about Sugar on Sunday?
Sugar on Sunday. You talking about the McGuire sisters?
They have this one as The Click.
I never heard of it.
Yeah, I don't know that one.
I never heard that.
Let's see. In the year 25...
Zager and Evans.
How does that go?
It was a warning song. In the year 2525, if man is still alive.
Oh, like a post-apocalyptic
like it was
type
apocalyptic.
thing.
Like you choose your children by pressing a button.
Oh wow, it's kind of
you don't use your brain for anything anymore.
Hey,
everything is all
you're
already programmed.
They hit on something.
Zager and Evans.
Wherever you are, man, someone should be mailing you a golden check because you hit it right out the park.
That's right.
This one, you'll gimme good lovin'.
Gimme good lovin' all the time. Now, people thought that. Anyway, some people thought that "Gimme Good Lovin'" was done by Felix Cavaliere.
I was just gonna say that.
Felix Cavaliere.
You read my mind,
but it wasn't.
Wow.
Because their song was "Good Lovin'."
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of.
Right. Exactly. So
I never heard "Gimme Good Lovin'." I don't know that one. Is it sound similar?
No, it doesn't sound anything like it. It's just the title.
Okay. I was gonna say I thought that was Felix Cavaliere and
who were they showing did it in this one?
The Crazy Elephant.
Yeah, one hit wonder, Crazy Elephant.
Yeah, I've never. What is Dominique?
Okay, Dominique and Nikki got on the way to San Ramon.
This shit is amazing.
The Singing Nun.
It's in a lot of movies too.
And her name was Sister Sol Soiria. She was from France.
Okay, wow, that's interesting.
So I think this was a good show.
Yeah, there's so many more that you could talk about. I mean, again, it goes on and on and on. I mean, I see so many here that you've named before, but if anybody else, there's a band called the Blue Magoos.
The Blues Magoos.
What the hell is that?
They were a British band.
Okay.
The Blues Magoos.
We ain't got nothing.
Nothing yet. They made one song.
Okay. All right, and the last one I'm going to mention is called The Cheater. Cheater, not the animal.
Yeah, it's a guy. Hang on for the cheater. Da 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 da.
The name of the group is a pisser, man. I mean, Bob Cuban.
No.
That was Inmen?
No, but Bob Cuban was the singer. I didn't even think it was a group.
What's an Inman?
An Inman? Well, it's better than being an outman.
An outman, yeah, I guess so. Anyway, but if anybody else knows any of these one-hit wonders that we didn't
mention that you would like to know about,
yeah, please send along.
So let me ask you something, Punk.
Yeah.
This is what our
Sonny, Bobby Hebb,
Sonny. We used to sing that when we saw.
Oh, I know the song. A lot of movies.
Yeah.
Sonny. Yeah, I know. I got it.
And when Sonny Gelando used to walk up Skillman Street, we used to sing that. Sonny.
You used to. Oh, that's great.
Yesterday, my life was filled with rain.
That I always thought that was done by the same group that sang "Ain't No Mountain High Enough."
No,
I don't know why.
Well, "Ain't No Mountain High Enough" was made famous by the Temptations,
right?
And the Supremes. They did it together.
Okay, that's what it reminded me.
Ain't no mountain high.
Yeah, that's what it reminded. What were you going to ask me?
So this is our 5th installment.
It's 5. Yeah,
5, right,
we're trying to get more out there.
Yeah, we have to, and we're going to do it if people really want to hear it. But what are we going to do next?
Well, we have a couple of options. Well, I think that to piggyback off this one should be rock and roll artists that aren't obviously one-hit wonder, but that are still going strong today.
Great.
And we could name so many of them that
Oh man, in fact,
we're going to see one soon.
we're going. I'm not trying to be commercial here, but thank God, we were in. We used to go to Westbury every time there was maybe 5-6 times a year.
Should have bought stock in the place,
right? But now, because of of COVID, we weren't able to do it. But now, on May 21st, we're going to see Tommy James and the Shondells.
Yeah,
who puts on a show like you can't believe.
Yeah.
Tommy's amazing.
Great show, man.
Okay, and he's
Great
got two.
band.
He's got 2 or 3 of his originals with him. So
Yeah, and he's got a really good. Well, they always have a really good band at Westbury, the backing band. I know Christian's friendly with one of them.
right. Well, I think you're thinking of you're thinking of the Happy Together tour. And
Okay,
you got the 2 guys that back up all the groups that come on.
the drum is really good too.
Yeah, and the guy the Christian knows is Nigel. I forget his last name.
Yeah, he's from Long Island. Or
He's
something.
from. Actually, he's from Queens. He's from Glendale.
Okay, yeah, always good.
But we're going to see Tommy James and the Shondells.
Yeah,
we're going to see the Box Tops.
Good band, man.
Memphis Soul.
Yep.
We're going to see the group that we've seen many times that Rob Grill used to be the head of. He died, but the LA band, the ones I like.
Grassroots.
Grassroots.
Yeah.
Dusty, whatever his name is on guitar, he's great.
Yeah.
So we're going to see them on May 21st, and then the Happy Together tour is going to be amazing this year. We're going to see, of course, the Turtles. We're going to see the Buckinghams. We're going to see the Vogues.
And our friend we like.
My best, Chuck
Negron.
Negron. Is the only guy I've ever seen with oxygen in his nose, blasting the songs out. Right?
Yeah, it's scary how good he is. It's scary.
And the Cowsills. Yeah. And the Association.
Listen, they've been able to withstand time.
So if anybody ever wants to, you got some time to kill, go to Prime Video and go to Amazon Prime Video. I'm sorry, and put in the Cowsills Family Band movie.
Very interesting.
That'll blow your freaking head.
Very interesting. Yep. Very interesting. Yeah, when it's when you go see a lot of the acts that are still around.
Yep.
It's always great because they've withstood the technology change over to the internet. You can't buy records anymore.
Right.
They've withstood the changing in music, and their stuff has just remained, timeless.
Yeah, I mean, look at Frankie Valli is 84 years old. He's 80 freaking 4 years old. Okay, and he tours 6 or 7 months out of the year.
Yeah.
And the one tour could be 60 different cities.
And he's been able to piggyback that into a movie, into one of the most famous shows, right? I mean, it's amazing. It's always great to see. It's like you said, it's a little sad sometimes when they're not well. Who's the gentleman you said before that wasn't well when we saw him?
Jimmy Beaumont.
Yeah, we felt bad, man.
Yeah.
I give them credit for still doing it, trying, but and we've got to put up there too 2 of our favorites who keep on going. Obviously a lot bigger than what we're talking about here, but Paul McCartney.
And Paul can't sing anymore, and it's sad. It breaks my heart to see him struggle. But you know what? I could care less.
Me neither.
He's Paul McCartney.
I couldn't care less. And the Rolling Stones. Just keep on going.
He walks 10 miles a show on the stage.
Yeah.
He's 70-something years old.
It doesn't get any better, and they just keep on churning, putting out albums and new stuff. And I mean, it's amazing.
They're amazing. And you know who you and I talk about all the time? One of my all-time favorites that'll forever
just had a birthday.
Willie
just had a birthday. Was he 80?
85?
Jesus Christ.
85. And we saw him 2 years ago, was it?
Yeah, he didn't sit.
No.
He didn't sit down once, 25 songs, pounded them out. You didn't even know there was an encore because he just kept pounding out music.
Yeah, he's amazing. If anybody gets a chance to see him while he still does, he does the Outlaw tours now.
Yeah, but he's got a great group with him. He's got a great travel. He's got the guy we saw, Aaron Lewis, the badass dude, who made everybody stand up for the national anthem. Yeah, he travels with him, and he's got Waylon Jennings.
He's got his
Shooter
son.
Jennings. Shooter Jennings.
Right, and he's got his own son.
Yeah.
Micah.
Yeah.
And he calls Micah on the stage as, Micah, you've been banging onto something back there and you're giving me a headache.
Yeah.
So sing a song.
Yeah, he's got a
Yeah.
phenomenal group of musicians with
Yeah.
him, which is really good.
So-
But that's what we'll do with the next one. We'll talk about
who've withstood artists who have withstood the tests of time.
yeah, longevity, man.
Yeah.
So hit us up Facebook or Instagram. Trying to branch out to the other social media branches, but it's an absolute pain in the ass because I don't look at TikTok and I don't look at the other stuff, your mother's face, whatever else they call it. But hope you enjoyed it. You've been hanging with the old timer and the punk, and now it's time we got to eat something. So talk to you later. Out.
Ciao.